if you're feeling embarrassed about using artificial intelligence, AI, to cultivate and develop and publish insights for your expert business, here is a piece of advice that may change your perspective. I would advise that you don't use AI to write for you, but to write with you. I feel like, and I see that so many people, come to me and say, hey, are you using AI? Because I've been trying to use it, or I've been using it, but I don't want to tell people that I do that. And very often time that's because they let AI do the work entirely for them, including the reflection work. Writing is really thinking in words if you think about it. And the greatest value of publishing your insights is to explore them, to wrestle with your ideas, to clarify your thoughts, to crystallize them, to make sure that you establish a healthy relationship with those ideas, that you are clear with them, confident and comfortable sharing them. And if you use AI to do that for you, you squeeze the opportunity to really create that strong and healthy relationship with your idea. Now, AI, it's not if AI is going to be everywhere soon. It's when. It's really a matter of time, and it's going really, really fast. I hear, people still trying to prevent other people from using it to write, to do some work. Schools really scared about this, and preventing the kids to using AI. And I think, a lot of the time it's for good reason. They want to really understand and establish safe policies, and really understand where this technology is impacting education. But it would be like telling people, well, don't use a calculator. Aren't you ashamed to use a calculator to solve this complex math problem? You should use a ruler or some kind, all manual. Well, that was like maybe 100 years ago. Now, these days, today, you would be crazy not to use a calculator. So I feel like using AI, for us, for experts, in publishing our thoughts is very comparable. Is very comparable. So instead of using it to write for you, use it to write with you. Use it as a thought partner, as a creative intern, as a writing intern, as somebody you can bounce idea with, as somebody that can make you a better writer and accelerate your work as a writer and help you go deeper into your thoughts, your perspective, your methodology, your frameworks, and develop things that are higher quality. I use AI all the time, every day. Pretty much everything you see from me was touched by AI in some fashion. You will get a transcription of that video somewhere below wherever you see it, and it's probably generated by AI, right? So that's the reality we live in. Now, I encourage you to develop a healthy relationship. Embrace the use of AI, because you ought to understand it. You ought to really develop your own process, opinion, and flow, and integrate it into your workflow. See, your job is not going to be replaced by AI. Your job is going to be replaced by somebody else who uses AI in your field, whether you're a coach, a consultant, an expert of some kind. Someone else is already using AI to write with them, to create with them, and that person may be more relevant than you and potentially could replace you. That, to me, is the new paradigm we live in. So how do you use AI? How do you use, say, ChatGPT? That's one of the mainstream tools, one of the number one tools that I use. How do you use ChatGPT to write with you? Well, at first, and I'll walk you at a high level very briefly through an example of a scenario that I live every day. I have some thoughts about, maybe a video about talking about AI. So I go to my favorite writing software. I use Ulysses. A lot of the time, it's on the Mac platform, but you could use a Word document or a Google document. I also, write all the time on pen and paper. I draw things all the time. And I start jotting down my ideas. And I start recording them, whether on audio or video or on a document. And a lot of the time, it's not very clear yet. At first, the first draft, the first outline, it's quite bad, in fact. And I think every skilled professional, even the best writers on the planet, start there. They'll all tell you that the first draft, they're very ashamed about. So, so many writers get writer's block. Most of them, in fact, get writer's block. We all get writer's block at some point. So, but I develop a rough outline, a rough piece, and then I put it in ChatGPT and say, hey, can you help me understand what are the main points that you see here? Like if you had to summarize this as a series of bullet points, like what would that look like? Right. So I'm using it as a bouncing wall, throwing a ball against the wall and see what kind of ball comes back at me as a sounding board. And within that structure, I may realize that, oh yeah, there's a point, there is a word that I was kind of hovering above, kind of, going around. I was beating around the bush with this aspect of my idea. Oh, maybe that's what I actually meant to say. So I take this and then I keep writing. And as I continue to write without the help of AI, I start formulating and developing more ideas, more thoughts, more nuances. Here's a story I can remember from, a time when I was working with this client, and I start adding it, right? And then whenever I feel like it, I ask the help of AI by putting that content back into ChatGPT and saying something like, okay, at this point, here is what my draft article looks like. Can you see anything that I might be missing? Can you see anything that is still unclear? So I asked for its help to continue to help me at the structural level. Or sometimes I asked, the AI to expand on things or contract on things. So expand and contract. I also run into words that I feel not yet comfortable using because there's part of the word that I think I know the meaning, but maybe, it's not quite obvious to me, especially because I am not a native English writer and speaker, although I write immediately and now directly in English, which makes me an exophonic writer, somebody who writes in a foreign language. But anyways, that's for another conversation. I go back to ChatGPT and say, hey, this particular word, can you help me better understand it? Can you look up the etymology, the origin, the meaning? How would you use it in that context? So in that moment, I also use ChatGPT as a search engine. And that's a great search engine because I don't have to run into ads. It's much faster. Sure, it still cherry picks what it wants to show me. And that's a different problem that AI runs into. It's not perfect, but that's a big, big problem that AI has and big debate here that, I acknowledge. And that's a big issue too. But I continue to with this process thinking, okay, well, now I feel like, I have written that piece myself with the help of AI. Now, let me ask for AI to see if it flows well. If I were, say I'm writing this for a business leader, business owner of a small consulting firm of this type, that range, doing this and this and that. So I give AI my instructions of who my audience might be. And I actually also ask ChatGPT to help me understand my audience better. ChatGPT has access to information I don't have necessarily about my audience. ChatGPT can help me understand my audience a lot better. So I run my writing through ChatGPT's understanding of my audience to inform me about points and aspects and things that people might be more interested in. That makes me a better writer. That's how I use AI to write with me, not for me. And you can continue, and help me check for spelling mistakes and maybe ways that these sentences could be shorter or flow better. But one of my favorite things to ask ChatGPT is always to use as much as possible my own words. I say, please use as much as possible my own words. so that it keeps my voice and my style intact. In fact, I find myself spending the vast majority of my time interacting with ChatGPT building my prompts. Some of my prompts are a few hundred words long because I give ChatGPT a lot of details. A lot of details. I keep things in the same thread, and maybe our threads, we've been back and forth dozens of times because the machine learns better and better about what kind of writer I am so that it can be in better service of what kind of writer I want to be and not write for me. I hope this is helpful, and I hope this helps you be less ashamed about using an AI such as ChatGPT.